Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are happy to have the boys' tennis coach at CHS with us, one Chris Bloom. Welcome, Chris.
It's good to be here.
First time for Chris to be joining us, but we're going to talk about tennis at CHS in just a few minutes. Right now, though, we want to bring you up to date, as we usually do, with what's going on at CHS and at the middle school this week. Today, Monday, the boys' soccer sectional is opening and the Spartans will be at Rushville taking on Newcastle, a team that they defeated 2-0 in the first game of the season way back in August, Sam. So we want to wish those guys good luck.
Sure do. And I think they've come a long way and seem to be playing better, and I like their chances here.
Chris, I know you know a lot of the soccer guys, so I know you wish them the best too.
Oh, yeah. Anybody from Connersville. Wish them good luck.
Junior varsity football is home to Northeastern. It's a 6 o'clock start, which is right about now that these guys are getting underway on Monday. The JV football team is doing well.
Yes, they are, and that's always gives you hope.
Yeah, sure. That's our feeder program. Yeah. And the girls are in action on a regular season game. The girls soccer team, they're at Centerville. On Tuesday, the girls soccer sectional will be at Richmond, and the girls soccer team will be taking on Rushville. So like we do the boys, we wish the girls the best of luck in their sectional play. Also Tuesday, the boys tennis regional will be at Richmond at 4:30, and the varsity and JV volleyball will be at Rushville on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the boys soccer will be at Rushville at 7 o'clock if they win today, and they will be playing Rushville if they're successful in their Newcastle game. The boys tennis regional will be at Richmond on Wednesday. On Thursday, the girls soccer sectional at Richmond, and they'll be in that if they win in their game on Tuesday. And also Thursday, varsity and JV volleyball home to East Central, and that has a 6 o'clock start time at the CHS gym. On Friday, varsity football will be home at Lawrenceburg, starting at 7 o'clock, of course. On Saturday, IHSAA cross-country section will be here at Connersville. Junior varsity volleyball team will be taking part in the Eastern Indiana Athletic Conference tournament. At middle school, cross-country is home to Rushville today. It will be the team will be playing at Sunman on Tuesday. Also on Tuesday, the volleyball team will be meeting Richmond Dennis at Spartan Arena at the middle school, and the cross-country will be in action at Richmond on Tuesday. On swimming and diving, we'll be meeting Centerville Thursday at the CHS Natatorium, and the middle school cross-country team will be at Eaton for an invitational. And Saturday, the volleyball team will be at Monroe Central for what they call an invitational. So that's what's coming up at the middle school and at CHS this week. Chris, what about tennis at CHS?
We just completed our season losing in the sectional championship against Franklin County. It was a pretty rough season, I would say. Very inexperienced. We finished 3-11, and we had one returner, Nick Mustin, who had what I would call varsity experience. There were a few that played like a match here or there to fill in, but we were just extremely young and had a lot to learn in being competitive in a tennis match. So we took our bumps this year, which isn't always fun, and trying to keep morale up for all the boys, especially for boys, is a little bit difficult. Keep them energized even if they're not winning.
Did you see improvement as the season progressed?
Yeah, we saw a lot of improvement, and I think that the biggest thing was making sure the boys knew that we want to win, but we weren't particularly at that level playing a bunch of teams that had a lot of seniors with a lot of experience, and that we needed to grow each practice, each match, in hopes that at the end of the year we could be in position to possibly win sectional. But Nick Mustin, our #1 player, he's played one now 3 years in a row. So ever since he was a freshman, And he has his own style of play, which is very aggressive. And so he did a good job of listening to what I wanted him to do, which was kind of tone back and just play both styles of defensive and offensive, and just kind of being a steady player. And Justice Parvis, who was a sophomore, he played 2 singles for us this year, and he did a very good job of working his shot. So he did a lot of improvement from beginning to end and consistency, and he needed that experience. I think he played like 2 matches last year, not very many. But the one that improved the most was a freshman. Played 3 singles for us, Gavin Parsley. He had been out, and he had very good technique, but no competitive experience other than playing with family. And so there's a lot of pressure when it comes to playing the actual match. And once he shook those nerves early in the season, he just was able to just show glimpses of being a very good tennis player for us in the future. And like I said, if I judged by wins, then nobody really was doing a great job. But just personally seeing them develop in their skills over the course of the season, it was a lot of fun for me.
First year as coach?
Yep, this is my first year. So not the way I guess you would want to see it, but it's like I told the boys that I've coached middle school basketball and some JV up at Cambridge, and been all over the place with that, and we weren't always successful. So I could handle it, I think, a little bit better than maybe they have, and just being able to bring to them just skill development and growth in that, so that we can build a foundation to be successful.
So there's no middle school team. So, I mean, when you get these guys, that's it, right?
Yeah, and that's very difficult because you play a lot of people that have kids that can come in as freshmen that know how to play and know what to do, and they have good skills, and they're new. For us, they're new to the game. They pick it up in maybe summer PE, or maybe a buddy comes out. And for us to be successful, we have to build something to kind of direct them into playing tennis.
Sure. Who helps you coach?
Brett Miller. He teaches with me at Maplewood, and so he came on board. Very good with the boys and encouraging.
Good deal.
Are there clinics or places where, if a young person is interested in learning tennis, that they can go in the area?
There are some places that they can go. They have courts, and they have some people that give lessons, I think, in Richmond, at a couple places. I know you can go to Earlham. And then, for the most part, you have to travel, which is very difficult for us around here. You can go to Indy, you can go to Muncie, Hamilton, Ohio. So we have to travel a distance, so it'd be really good if we could get some facilities close to us for that. But for the majority of it, they have to travel to do that. So that makes it difficult. And my first year taking over, we didn't have a camp this year. And I know in years past that we haven't had really anything in the summer for them that I know of. And so that's one thing that I want to change, is just getting a summer camp and trying to get something, maybe even like a youth league, just a small league where they can come out and learn skills and learn to compete with each other, just so that there's some kind of feeder for them.
Last year, our tennis courts were being renovated, so the guys had to play away all the time. Do you think that affected it a little bit this year?
I think they enjoyed getting to stay home and not travel on the bus. I know I did, but I don't know how they handled that every match. I mean, I know that there was a difference in the team when we would travel as opposed to when we were at home. There was more energy at home, which seems to be the case for most sports. But
it's that home court advantage that
it is. You wouldn't
always talk about.
It was kind of amazing that there actually was home court advantage in tennis. Even though I played, I never saw it like that. But we had an advantage, and they have great courts. Now they're the best courts around.
Yeah, we're really proud.
They
of our
really
tennis
are.
courts, yes. Yes.
So it's something for us to be proud of when people come to play us, is that we have these nice courts, and
Yes.
now that there's no reason for them not to get out when the weather's nice and play. So
In some sports, many sports, that there are times during the year where you can't really coach, that you got to leave the kids alone. But I think that's loosened up somewhat. But is it that way in tennis too? Can you work with these kids more in the off season?
I can work with them, other than the fact that I can only work with 2 at a time. I can't have more in, or they consider it a team, unless it's, if I have an open tennis, I can only work with 2 at a time on my focus, and then I can't kind of do a whole team drill and do that kind of stuff. So I have to send some kids off to play, and I get to work with some individually. But there really is no timetable. I can do that anytime. So basically, not working with too many at once.
Sam and Chris, we had a football game Friday night in Connersville.
Yes, we did.
We played a team called East Central that is ranked number 3 this week in Class 4A by the Associated Press and number 6 in the coaches poll. The best team I've seen in a while.
They are, and the story kid, he was the story of the night, I think.
Absolutely.
We talked about that. Dave and I talked about that on the radio, but just amazing kid that seemed to be able to break free and get the long yards, and he was fun to watch. But what I liked about the evening, and I read what Coach Kelly talked about, that our kids never gave up. They scored first, which I think really surprised East Central.
Oh, I think so.
And while they scored first and they scored last and didn't score any in between, they never gave up, and they continued to play hard. And I enjoyed watching our kids play. Now, you get beat 56-15, and you think, well, that's a blowout, and maybe it is, but you got to give our kids a lot of credit, Fran, for the effort that they put out.
We had 13 first downs against their defense, and I was impressed with that. I really was.
And they had 110 kids on the sideline.
I know it. They had like 39 freshmen, 21 seniors. I mean, I thought they just when I saw 3 buses on the parking lot, I thought they brought their band with them. But no, it was all players.
Yes, it was. So.
We have some highlights from the game Friday night that the Spartans entertained East Central, the Spartan Stadium. So let's see those right now.
There we are going in. That was the first score.
Right.
Fran, and really, as I said, really caught the Trojans off guard, I think, and fired our team up. And I think that that helped to carry them and kept them playing hard for the rest of the game.
Runner and I talked, Runner Wiley and I talked, that we thought that's probably one of the first times that the opposition scored against East Central. Of course, they lost to Cincinnati and LaSalle. They didn't score in that one, but I think every other game they scored early and before the other team did. So we were really happy to see that, the Spartans. But then, as you say, Story came right back on a couple of plays and tied the ball game.
Yeah, and he had broken a school record the week before with 400 yards rushing against Franklin County. So you think about all the tradition that East Central has had over the years, and they were state runner-up last year, and I think have a couple state championships for him to break that record and to hold the record is pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah, they lost in the state to Fort Wayne Dwenger, like 27-3 or something. So if they don't make it back to the state this year, I'll be surprised.
Oh, I think they got a very good chance, but they got to get by Shelbyville first because they drew Shelbyville opening round of the sectional, and right now they both have identical records.
Okay, well,
Shelbyville, of course, blown out the other night by New Palestine.
Yes. Speaking of the sectional, the Spartans will be entertaining Pendleton Heights on October 21st on a Friday night, so that will be good.
Yeah, it's good to anytime you can get the opening round at home. we right now are 2-5, and so is Pendleton Heights. So
That
I would have to
Story
think
again,
that's
I
a
think,
game.
isn't it, Sam?
I think a Story. He was the Story, as I said.
That's right.
And,
But no, our kids played well. That's the Du Bois, I think, carrying the ball right now. That's 32.
the thing that concerns me the most, Fran, are the injuries that were suffered the other night by 3 key players.
Right, we have just a little bit here on Monday, a little bit on them that the starting quarterback, Dalton Light, a sophomore, suffered a back injury. And then a couple of guys suffered leg injuries, ankle injuries. I believe.
Mason Sullenberger, he's on crutches, and Donovan Foreman has a boot, and for at least a week. So they could be questionable, and I think will be questionable for this week, the road trip down to Lawrenceburg.
Well, Lawrenceburg's another powerhouse. I mean, to me, they're second in the conference as far as right under East Central. They score like 41 points a game on average, so they've got a tough offensive machine.
And we've talked about it before, the Eastern Indiana Athletic Conference, very tough football conference. When you look at East Central and Lawrenceburg, and Batesville's always good, Franklin County's always good, and so it's a tough conference to play in.
At number 5 is the freshman quarterback came in for the Spartans, Alec Adkins, when the starting quarterback went out, Light, and I thought he did a great job.
Yes, he did, and there they are, the Spartans, with the 2-point conversion, with a minute 37 left in the game, and I just think it was good that they hadn't given up. They still wanted to score.
15 points, that's what the average of East Central on defense this year has been. So the Spartans right at their defensive average that East Central has allowed in their ball games. But it was quite a game, and I'm like you. I was impressed with they were working just as hard at the end as they did at the beginning. So
hopefully some folks will travel down to Lawrenceburg and watch them play on their new turf field down there.
What was it called? Tiger something, or just Tiger
Stadium?
Tiger.
I don't know, but it is a beautiful facility, and I'd like to see a big crowd. But if you can't make it, Dave Pollard and I will have it all the action on KMix 106.9, and
well, Chris was
join us at
impressed with their
6:45.
facilities, weren't you, Chris?
I was.
You played tennis down there.
Yeah, they have an amazing turf field down there to show off as soon as you come up on their campus, and that stood out when I went down there. It really stood out. You couldn't miss it.
Their new gymnasium is really nice inside too, although they didn't set it up very well for media. I can't see the floor from where they. But be that as it may, it is pretty. We talked about the EIAC being a football conference, very much so. But what about tennis-wise, Chris? Who are some of the other teams in the conference that play well?
For us, it's Franklin County is very good in the conference. They return 5 players next year, and they were really tough. And Batesville and Greensburg always seem to run these players through, even since when I played, that they have closer facilities where they're getting work in the winter. And so those 3 are usually at the top. East Central is usually in and out. And then, so we're hoping to push our way to the top with everybody returning from our lineup. We're not going to lose anybody. So, like I said, put work in, and hopefully they'll make a difference. But it's pretty strong for tennis right now, too. There's not many matches that you can go into where you feel like you just get to go in there and do what you want kind of thing. It's you have to really come and bring it.
I think it's a very competitive conference in all sports, and it was. I think it was good that we got, along with Rushville, got added to that,
Yeah.
and hopefully we're making it a better conference. What was already a good one, that we're helping to make it a better one.
It's great to be in a conference. I think the youngsters, it's an extra incentive to play for when they're in a conference, because there's a championship that they'd like to grab and everything.
Besides tennis, you doing any other coaching at CHS?
Not at CHS. I'm getting ready to start middle school basketball.
Okay.
8th grade boys.
You've had a little experience with that in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Quite the player.
Chris,
I guess that's what.
you graduated from CHS, and tell us a little about your 4 years at CHS.
There's a lot of people that would say that that high school wasn't the best, but I really enjoyed high school. A lot was because of athletics and being involved, and just really enjoyed playing basketball, and picked up tennis going into high school, and played baseball freshman and senior year, and was a part of the team that went to semi-state. And I could never get it done in basketball while I was here, get through and break through in the sectional and that stuff, but I was able to get those in tennis and in baseball. So.
But you entertained a lot of people at Spartan Bowl. You'd step back and let those threes go. And
Yeah, it was a lot easier to stay behind the line than to get inside the line. So I think that's why I enjoyed being behind it so much.
Then you were able to coach under your coach, right, at Cambridge City?
Yeah, I spent 2 years up with Rodney Klein coaching the JV boys up there, and it was a great experience, and just kind of, able to give back what was given to me, and just to help the boys that were up there. And I really do enjoy the time that I get, not just coaching, but just getting to spend time with them and help them in the struggles that they go through as high school students and athletes and things like that. It's just, there's a lot that comes with coaching that can be enjoyable.
You've about 10 years removed from high school, but you're still young enough that you can relate to the younger
Yeah.
guys, I'm sure.
That's
Yeah.
important.
Yep, I think that's probably one of the things that helps when you're coaching, is being able to relate to them. But I think mainly is that when you show them that you care about them and you genuinely do, then they are willing to run through the wall for you and those things, and just showing that support, even in the bad times that they face, that you're there, makes it good.
And you went off to college. Talk about your college experience.
I went to college at IUPUI, so 4 years up there, and got my degree in physical education, and spent some time. That was just, college was fun. College is way different than high school. No matter what people say, you have way more free time in college than you do when you're a high school student.
Sometimes too much.
Sometimes too much, yeah. But college was a good time. And so I was able to go to college with my high school sweetheart. So I was able to spend 4 more years with her and then get married to her. So there was a lot of good things from college.
It's nice you've both come back to the community and working in the community and giving back.
Yeah, when we were first up at college, just looking at future plans and what we kind of wanted to do, it wasn't necessarily in the plans to come back, but closer to the end of college, it was very important to both of us to come back to be around our family and raise a family here, because Connersville's home. And I know there's a lot of things going on here that people go through, but I really do think that we can get more people to come back and put into the community and put into the youth, and just be willing to help each other, that a lot can change. One of the reasons why I think I'm drawn to sports is you just see a different mindset from kids that maybe you don't see if they're not in sports or extracurricular activities. They see something and they want it and they work for it. And that's a good thing about sports, and coming back and teaching them that they have goals to really try to strive for those and reach for those, and not to sell themselves short.
Absolutely.
Did you play sports in college, Chris?
I did not. I had a small opportunity to possibly play up at IUPUI or walk on, but I ended up hurting my knee in the process, and that kind of cut things short. But it wouldn't have been anything big. I would have been on the team and saw where it went from there. But I miss playing. I miss the team atmosphere, but the relationships I built up there were some of my best friends. So I would have possibly missed out on those. So I guess without playing, I didn't miss out on those.
Who were some of your teammates when you played basketball at CHS?
I had the honor to play with Matt Howard. Obviously, that's probably the biggest one.
What happened to him anyway?
He went on to do a lot of things, and he still is. So he was great. Always calm and always there for you. He was never vocal. You had to kind of dig with him. But he was a great teammate. One of my classmates, BJ Day, we had played basketball since we were little, like kindergarten, first grade, and went to school together. So not very many of us stuck it out through senior year, but he was one. And then Ryan Henderson was another one, super talented, could jump out of the gym.
Oh, yes.
So those were a few.
Yeah, some good guys.
Yeah.
A lot of memories from high school.
Yeah, yeah. They really were. Always look back on those.
I bet. Back to football for just a second. And at sectional 22, in addition to the Spartans entertaining Pendleton Heights on October the 21st, Mount Vernon will be at Richmond. Greenfield Central plays at Jay County, and Newcastle will be at Delta. Those are the other 6 teams that make up the 8 that are in sectional 22. So who do you think out of that, Sam?
Well, you know, it's hard to say it because this year there's no dominant team in that sectional. So they say Delta's pretty good, and of course we've seen Richmond. I don't think Richmond's all that bad, and Mount Vernon has been good in the past. So I don't know if you could say those were the favorites, but I think it'd be wide open, and I'd like to see the Spartans win that first one and then see what happens in the next week, because I think if they continue to play the entire game like they have been of late, that their chances are as good as anybody's.
I agree, and if we can stay away from injuries, I think that's because we just don't have the numbers like some of those teams have.
Exactly.
So I think that's another thing that we need to look at. But all in all, I've seen a lot of progress in our kids this year.
Yeah, I have too, and they've been a lot of fun to cover.
They really have. They've been interesting, and I hope the fans, of course, this week, you're at Lawrenceburg, and then the home game on the 14th will be with Batesville, and that's the closing of the regular season. And that'll be senior night and the pink out night. So that's always, hopefully that'll be it's an important thing that the people come out and support the cancer thing.
Yeah, hopefully the weather's good. You know, we've had pretty good luck with the weather here at home anyway. We had that big delay down at Brookville at Franklin County High School, but a 2.5-hour delay, and hopefully we won't have any more of that. But the crowds at Spartan Field have been good.
Yes.
As they always are, no matter what our record is. And as you said, senior night coming up on the 14th. So it'd be nice to everybody wear their pink and come on out.
Yeah, our fans are great supporters here at CHS in all the sports. And Chris, we want to thank you for taking time out to join us here. And even though you're a little disappointed in your first year's coaching, I'm sure things will get better for you in the incoming seasons.
I appreciate you guys having me on to talk about our team.
Thanks a lot. Chris Bloom has joined us tonight here on Spartan Sports Report. Sam, good luck Friday night. Bring home a winner.
Well, thank you. Be sure to tune in to KMX 106.9, and you'll be able to listen if we had that winner.
Okay, and thanks everybody for watching the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.